Sequels to fondly remembered games don't usually tend to fly under the radar, but damn did Raw Thrills and Nintendo really pull the rug out from under us. Cruis'n Blast seemed to have come out of nowhere for a lot of people after its showcase at IAPA 2016 back in November, and now it's out, possibly at an arcade near you. Whether or not you're ecstatic or a bit confused about the return of the series, Cruis'n Blast is here, so let's get to it. To start off, Cruis'n Blast has huge cabinets. The skinny canopy design is a real showstopper with tons of eye-catching blinky lights and a slick chroma trim. One thing I found very odd is that there's no way to adjust the seat, which should be a no-brainer for any arcade racing game. It wasn't much of a problem for me, but it's a very strange choice nonetheless. When it comes to your controls, Cruis'n Blast checks off most of the stuff on the arcade racer checklist. You got your view changes, turbo button, and only one pedal. There's no brake pedal at all, which simplifies things for a more straightforward experience, but has some caveats when performing stunts and drifts. All of this is accompanied by a crisp 43-inch 1080p display, with little to no input latency that I could tell. The cabinet also has a camera built into it to take your picture, because it's 2017 and every arcade game needs to have your face in it. Alright, enough about the cabinet, let's get to the game. Once you've paid your dues and start up your game, you're given a selection of 5 different tracks to race on. Compared to past Raw Thrills racing games, this is a major step down in terms of quantity of locales. This kinda works out in its favor though, as they seem to have put a lot more effort into these 5 tracks, and the amount of wacky, zany things happening on screen is truly a spectacle to behold. All the tracks are bright and colorful with tons of dynamic events happening literally all the time. London has a giant Ferris wheel chasing you throughout the track while it destroys everything around you. Singapore has you racing through a storm while buildings collapse around the track. Rio has you driving and barrel rolling through a parade. There's a lot going on while you race, and at no point does this game chug. It stays at a rock solid 60 frames per second at a full 1080, which is pretty impressive considering that the game is built to run on an NVIDIA GTX 750 Ti. That being said, you do see some pretty muddy textures at some points, but I digress. The game has a modest selection of licensed supercars for you to choose from, but like in past cruising games, pressing all the different buttons on the cabinet give you a bunch of different secret vehicles, like a helicopter, or a freaking backflipping dinosaur. Before each race, you can equip your car with various upgrades to help spec out its speed and handling and whatnot. You can also save these upgrades by setting up a profile with the keypad on the cabinet, because it's 2017 and every arcade game needs a keypad. Once you've taken your picture, your race begins. Controlling your vehicle feels fast and really loose. I can't imagine precision control was at the top of the list for the developers, but the game is incredibly forgiving with its collisions and crashes, since you don't really lose a whole ton of speed. While we're on the topic of precision, let's talk about that lone gas pedal. You see, there's a lot of different things you can do with that one gas pedal. You can wheelie boost, drift, and perform a number of mid-air stunts, which the attract mode teaches you how to do. The problem with all this is that I could never get the game to do exactly what I wanted to do. When I would try to stunt off a few ramps, I just couldn't get many tricks to work. Or when I'd drift, my car would instead just get up on its 2 wheels. My biggest gripe though, and this is with all the cruising games, is the constant need to mash on the gas pedal to do wheelie boosts. You're so focused on getting those boosts all the time that it really takes away from the racing. On the bright side, whenever you do wheelie boosts and hit a rival racer, your car just goes flipping and there's a burly sounding announcer dude that cheers you on. It's pretty great, honestly. All these gripes aside, Cruis'n Blast is a fast and frantic arcade racer that will surely give you $1's worth of enjoyment. Since there's only 5 tracks, you can play through the whole game for $5, which I think is well worth the investment all things considered, just to see how insane a lot of these tracks can get. I mean, I'm backflipping off a cliff in Rio, and I can become a drifting Triceratops. I can't think of any other game that goes that balls out with insanity other than the Cruis'n series, and maybe right now, we all deserve to go a little bit crazy. Special thanks to Game Time Arcade at Independence Mall in Wilmington, North Carolina for letting us film their Cruis'n Blast cabinet. Thanks, guys.